Welcome to the Red Couch, Mustafaj, but I can only call you Musti because you're the Musti.
Thanks. Thanks. And that's the way I also want people that I know to call me if they want, obviously. And that's nice. Nice to be here.
Do you know the secret of being in the inner circle in Switzerland?
No.
That is when people only refer to you by your nickname.
Oh,
They don't even use your last name anymore because there is only one Musti.
oh, okay. Well,
Then you've made
good
it
to
in this
know.
country. Yeah,
Good
that's a
to know.
sign.
Good to know.
So, like when people speak about the Angie, then that's me,
That's you, obviously. I
obviously.
haven't thought about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense.
So, other than that, tell us a fun fact about yourself.
Well, a fun fact. I would say Corona. I think during the Corona period, I thought during that period that Corona had ruined my career because Corona came just by when I, moreover, came to Switzerland. So I came about the end of 2019.
Uh-huh.
And then basically began my career some months later. And it was obviously an internship at the beginning, fresh from my study career. And I thought my career would go into the direction of administration or finance, so one of them.
Uh-huh.
Then came Corona, and we had no administrative work, no work to do. And then the thing is, I was thinking in my mind now what I'm going to do. I'm new in this country. I haven't worked for a year. I don't know what I'm going to do now. And yeah, so basically through Corona, I came into contact with marketing and with some other things that I'm now doing on my day-to-day basis. So during that moment, I thought that was it. That was the end of my experience here. I would need to go back to Italy. I would need to probably wait a lot of time or spend my career doing administrative stuff or finance. Through that thing at the moment, I thought that was a destiny thing, was not going into my favor. Nowadays, I consider that as a thing that went into my favor. So that's a
Ah,
fun fact. I owe Corona, even though it sounds strange. I owe Corona my present.
that's interesting because you're probably one of the only people who can find anything great in Corona.
It's not
But
great
I,
because
yeah, but I have to tell you also, it's also funny like how we met because I think it was maybe 3 years ago. You were
yeah, no,
supporting a competitor of mine who
yeah.
is an expat coach. And you found me, and then you reached out to me and said, I think I can help you, get more clients. And I was like, okay, this guy is quite courageous to say that.
That was really courageous, to be
Yeah.
honest. Now,
Yeah.
nowadays, I don't know if I would do that again, but as you know, like when you're young,
Well, and it worked,
it
Sometimes
was
it's
it
good
was
to have
kind
no
of
shame.
it was cheeky, or I don't know. I haven't thought that much about that. I just was convinced in my own mind I can do that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And, also, I think because, I get a lot of requests that I consider them
yeah.
spam. And in the beginning, I bothered and responded, and now I'm just pressing the spam button. But you were also authentic, in your approach. It was not just it was not just cheeky. It was also authentic, and also quite impressive, I have to say. And
Thanks.
you know that I know people quite well, so I had the feeling you know what you're talking about, and I was never disappointed because you're also really good at explaining complicated things to old people. Let's put it this way.
Thanks.
And without saying too much, tell us a bit more about, what's driving you. Why do you do what you do?
Well, at the beginning, as I said, during that Corona period, I was just handed over some marketing activities. There was nothing
Hmm.
else to do, so I was doing that. But after some days, after I understood, like, okay, this is marketing, this kind of activities relates to marketing. I maybe could like this career. I could like this field, and then I basically dove into more and more of marketing related fields, themes. I studied a lot on my own, watching YouTube videos and testing. And with the time, with the passing time, I realized, and now I'm still realizing a little bit, that what I like of marketing, and especially the digital part of marketing, and especially also when I can see analytics, when I can see real numbers, it's that through my work I can see like the impact that I can have on a business.
Hmm.
And the second factor, which I also analyze and which is also important to me, it's the growth. So I think nowadays I'm evolving with the time. Obviously, you need to do that. I'm evolving more into a figure of growth marketing. So understand how to grow a business, how to understand how to grow a business, and that's a thing that basically um, gave me the boost. And that was the thing from the beginning, because I've been focusing from the beginning on like numbers. I wanted to create social media profiles, post, test the platforms, but I went like after some months, I straight went to the part of like understanding a little bit of analytics, how to understand the website, how to get more out of a website. Then I came into SEO, and then I came into SEA, and then I came also in contact with the other related fields of growth marketing, so email marketing, how to use all these channels or all these related fields in marketing to grow a business. So first of all, it was to be able to see an impact, and to see that impact means having a dashboard or having some like real numbers. So to
Hmm.
see the growth, and to see that the growth is basically because I did something. So change something and see after a little bit, okay, I tested that, it worked, it brought me a little bit more visits, it brought me a little bit more interest, be it on LinkedIn, be it on your web page, or be it on YouTube. So that's, I think, there was the two captivating stuff that at the beginning I hadn't realized, but now I'm realizing.
I get sometimes a bit fixated on the numbers. I don't know if you noticed that already.
Yes, yes,
It can be a little bit of a stickler when it comes to like my goals. And I was one Google review short. Let's do something so that we can actually get the goal achieved this year.
I know,
Um,
because I'm a little bit also like that, but
uh,
yeah, that's also part of my
yeah.
motivation.
But to be honest, I mean, I also told one of my clients last night in a coaching conversation, for me, the numbers are proof. Yeah. So if the numbers aren't working, everything that I'm doing isn't right. Yeah, the numbers are proof that the things that I'm doing are working. So if I don't grow my numbers, there's something wrong as an entrepreneur. And one of the things, that I wanted to ask you. So I have actually lots of questions on behalf of my audience, not because I
Okay.
don't know the answer, but there's one thing I honestly tried to research, didn't find it. Do you know if there's an English speaking course like a CAS on digital marketing that some of my clients could actually go through, or can you recommend a course that might not even be in Switzerland? A Swiss one would be better, but what's your take on this? Or is it even necessary, or do you recommend it's better to just learn everything by doing?
Well, there are different types of people. Many of my friends during my studies, they needed like presence at the university. Then they won it, but they also needed the presence there. They needed the interactions. They needed the explanation, for example, of a professor, and so on. So what I want to say, there are some people who need to have like a structure given or defined by someone else. In this
Mhm.
case, by someone else who is organizing a course. Me, as of myself, I can work pretty well on my own, and I can get on my own pace. And to do that, I basically choose my own resources, or I just simply Google something on YouTube. Also, mainly I've done that, and I'm doing that nowadays when I have to test something new. So at the beginning, it was understanding a little bit more of what is social media marketing, what is a Google profile, what is Google Analytics, what can I see, and I just went to YouTube, and I always try to see like not only like general explanation, but people like showing directly their analytics, explaining this is my
Mhm.
analytic, this is where I can check my numbers. And then they explained, okay, this is the explanation, the traffic source is this. So they explained directly and not just stated some general theories. So that was my way to go.
Mhm.
So I haven't like followed a real course, if you want to say it, a CAS
Mhm.
or something else. uh, I was a self learner. I'm still a self learner for most of the things that I know nowadays.
But you have
So
two
yeah,
degrees anyway, right? You know,
yes.
I mean, it's not a, see that this is something I find sometimes a bit ridiculous in Switzerland. I came across an amazing job post today. I might share it with you afterwards. But they need, you need to have a degree in communications.
Yeah,
And
that's
then sometimes, you think, well, a lot of these things, that I've done over the last 10 years, I built several, websites,
nice.
several newsletters. I don't consider myself an expert, but I can do all of this. I know how to do this. Yeah. And I know how to do it well. So it's ridiculous. I'm not going to pay 8,000 francs and go through another course just to have a certificate.
Yeah.
But for them, it was even like on the website, like you had to click it. And if you didn't, I'm
Mm.
sure if you don't click it, you will immediately be sorted out. So
Oh, yes.
that's why I'm asking. And some of my clients, they face this challenge. They already have two MBAs. Some of them have a
Oh,
PhD, but now, they, after maybe a career break, they want to move into digital marketing because they're interested in the topic. They find it relevant. They might have some ideas about using AI. But then all the courses that we found so far are in German. There is nothing in English. Not your
yeah, there
problem,
are.
obviously, but yeah.
No, but there are many amazing resources on YouTube,
Yeah.
which are completely in English. Obviously, most of them are in English. I don't find that much in German. Not even talking about Swiss German. So the resources in Swiss German about marketing on YouTube or on similar platforms are really rare. What I would suggest is use Udemy and similar platforms.
Uh-huh.
There you have English speaking courses. You can also see the reviews, and the
Uh-huh.
courses there, they don't cost that much.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay 8,000 francs. And at the end of the day, after 2 hours sitting in the online course, there you get most good resources, good links where you can refine your knowledge when you can test something. You also get links to testing tools or to other tools that they basically mention during the course. So Udemy courses from starting from 10 or 8 dollars up to 50, 60, or
Yeah.
$100. You
Yeah.
get top notch knowledge
Yeah.
from top and experienced people who know what they are doing. And at the end of the day, it's online, and you don't have to pay that much money. So
Yeah.
Udemy would be a way to go.
Okay.
And YouTube,
Okay. I'll pass it on. And maybe one or two people will connect with you anyway from our Global People
sure,
Club to ask more
sure.
questions.
Why not? Yeah, that's the way I did. So a mix of YouTube,
Yeah.
Udemy, and what I also did is obviously I had the luck, or at least I tried to ask my colleagues who either had some small businesses or a friend of my friend had like a small business,
Hmm.
and I mean here also like really small business like a kebab shop or something like that. So I also did that. I just took their profile for free,
Yeah.
and through that, I got to see a real profile of a real business.
Yeah.
They let me basically test, so it was free. So for them, they were not getting that much client from the profile, so they were not losing anything. For me, it was just a plus, a bonus, because I could test, I could see real number, I could change things, and then see does it work, does it not work. And that's
Yeah.
the same thing that I also did then with other kind of businesses. For
Yeah.
example, construction companies, small construction companies, and so on. Painters,
Yeah.
single painters working as a single company, single man company, and so on.
Yeah.
So I had the chance to learn the things from YouTube, Udemy, but then also apply them directly. And that's, I think, the thing that's missing for many people. Not having just theory.
And
Try
Musti,
to implement from the
no,
beginning.
I totally agree with you, but I'm not in the hiring position. Like these hiring recruiters, they're sometimes they just care about the degree, and I think
I
it's
know,
not
I
really
know.
the best decision, to base something on. I think people having a good portfolio and having worked with clients and shown that they can do this, that's a
Yeah,
lot more important for digital marketing. It's similar to coaching. We have this problem, like in coaching, we have all these certifications. And to be
yeah.
honest, I have stopped at some stage to do this and just said, I'm just going to work with more clients and more clients and more clients and get more hours, because you get better the more you work with clients. You don't get better from doing more degrees.
Yeah,
And and
that's the way.
that's why, I totally agree with you, but some people are very stiff that way. Now, I wanted to ask you another question. You're not that old yet, but
Mm,
there was a time when you were a student, yeah, and
yeah,
maybe if
sure.
you think back about that time, what kind of advice would you give a younger version of yourself?
Well, in the last years, I've been thinking more and more about this. So, what would I have done, or what should I do if I'm again at that age? The thing is, uh, there are some factors that you cannot change. So the country you live on, maybe your education, because maybe your parents are not that rich, and some other factors. So I'm not saying that this can work or this has worked for me and it can work for everybody. Uh, I come from a normal family, not also that rich. I had to do many sacrifices. What I would say to my younger self is to take it a little bit more chilly, more calmly. Also nowadays, so that's the first thing. Everything settles with the time. That's also a
Hmm.
thing that you learn, and I'm still learning a bit. But to start, so basically referring to the career, I would say nowadays for most of the categories or for most of the jobs, you would need a good presence on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
LinkedIn has been my way to go and has helped me a lot through my career. At the beginning, it was just like this platform. I just had a profile but haven't used that, and so on. And when I discovered the possibilities for your career, then you can search for jobs, you can search for recruiters directly, you can connect with them with some other simple tools. You can find also, for example, email, so you can contact hiring recruiters. So I would say there is a recommendation: use LinkedIn. Even though you haven't started your career, you're still during your study period. Just connect with people that are already doing the job that you would like to do, or that you think that you would like to do, and just ask them what are the things that they are doing daily. And that's the thing that I've done during my learning phase on marketing. So not only I was learning and testing, but I was also trying to connect with people working in that area, and to understand, like, before I really start a career there. Okay, I like this, but maybe I like this because I have my own pace, or maybe I like it because I haven't seen another option.
Mhm.
The real proof is, there are, I think, two proofs, and the real proof is when you ask people who are already working in that segment, in that area, and you get a list of activities that they are doing, real insights coming from the real world and the real job. If you like the answer, then that's the way to go. Continue
Mhm.
learning, continue testing, continue writing with people, connecting with them, because at the end, that's the thing that's moving the needle. So having the nice word, having a network. I mean, that's important. So having people working in the area that you would like to work, asking them, getting real insights. That's a thing that has helped me really a lot in the years of making my career. And the second thing is to test. So this is sometimes applicable to some jobs, to some branches. Test, implement, and get a tasting of your job. So this goes also a little bit in the same direction of asking people who are already working in the job that you would like to work on. For me, it was just testing our website. For me, it was just testing on a real business. If I liked that, then I would have continued
Mhm.
as I did. So for many other categories would be, if you manage to get some, like, real world insights or real career insights from someone working in that, that's nice. If you can test on your own, if you can do some days, you can also ask, because some colleagues also did that in other countries. They simply, for example, for a lawyer, they wanted to study and to undertake the career of a lawyer, but they didn't want, like, to spend 5 years and then realize that's not the thing that I want to do. And
Mhm.
I really like the approach of, before taking the real decision, and that's, I think, that it's integrated in Switzerland, but that's applicable also to other careers.
Mhm.
Just go there, for example, with the lawyer or with the marketeer, spend some days or a week, if that's possible, if they let you, if they see that you have passion, that you really want to understand the job,
Mhm.
and there you have a real proof. You
Mhm.
like it or you don't like it. So
Mhm.
it's a little bit of connecting with the people, um, testing, and not waiting for the time that you are in the job, but getting a little bit of tasting of the job before you really enter the career.
And I always think, by the time you're 40, you can also still pivot into something
Yes,
else.
sure.
I have a one remark on the network, because sometimes people confuse the topic a little bit. I always say, it's not really that important, like which tools you're using. If
It's
it,
not
you
that.
can use an Excel sheet. You
Yeah,
can
that's
use
that's
a
work.
box of business cards.
That works fine.
But the,
If
per, the important thing is, I mean, LinkedIn is an amazing
Yeah,
database. I search a lot on LinkedIn, but I think, the important thing is that you treat the network like relationships with human beings. You're not
oh,
just like, you're building relationships, you're maintaining relationships, but you also realize that you're talking there to a human being. it's not like a case or a lead. And sometimes,
Oh,
that's something that annoys me in marketing. The language is sometimes so dehumanizing, like
aggressive.
as if,
Uh,
like if I would like to have you as a client, Musti, you're just a lead for me. You're just like a package that, I can grab.
I know, I know.
I don't, at least for my business, that would not work because, for my business, there was a lot of factors why people would decide to work with me. It's not just a service that we provide. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, because I have this like, at the moment, I have this relationship crisis with Tom Robot. Actually, we're going
Ah,
through a divorce, ChatGPT
okay.
and I.
ChatGPT.
But unfortunately, this morning I needed his help on something, and like I fall back into the problem of now being dependent on him. So, it's like I'm texting my ex. But I wanted to ask, what's your view on AI and AI in digital media, in creative writing, in reaching out to your network? What's your view and experience on this topic? I'm curious.
Well, my view is for, I would say, uh, for I would say most of the time until the end of August or so. I just had some small experiences with ChatGPT and with the field in general.
Uh-huh.
I know and I knew what it was and what it was capable of, but nowadays I'm experiencing more and more. I've visited some live events.
Uh-huh.
I've taken part into some webinars, read a lot and tested a lot with clients. So nowadays I can understand a little bit more and understand also more the capabilities of the technology. If done correctly, with the correct information, with the correct instructions and the correct prompt, the technology is amazing. And I have to be honest, it's really a disruptive technology. It's working perfectly for many sectors in digital marketing in general and digital media.
Mhm.
My view is the whole thing is going a little bit faster than it should be going. So
Mhm.
it's too much. It's a lot for a human mind,
Mhm.
for a human in general to not say understand and use the platform the way I use it or maybe you use it because that's already advanced. Many people know that ChatGPT exists, but they haven't tested the platform. That's normal because they work in other sectors. They are not affected by ChatGPT. So the potential, it's really amazing. It's probably there's no limit, no sky's the limit for ChatGPT and the other AI models. They think it's too quick, it's too fast. Nobody can live up to the expectation of knowing everything about ChatGPT or other
Mhm.
tools.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I've seen experiments and like workflows made from sales and marketing experts to use ChatGPT or other models integrated into CRMs and other
Mhm.
systems to talk to people, to basically create emails, to get your communication part directly, basically given to ChatGPT or these other models, and they handle it. They state that it works and that ChatGPT and the other models are now so advanced that they basically can make a psychological profile of the person that the tool is going to text and so on. My personal experience is it's still a testing phase. Some well priced tools promise a lot. I would need to test them, but I think in general they are obviously time saving tools, disruptive, high potential. Um, I use them, for example, for research, for ideas, and also with direct data. For example, just have a list of potential keywords, feed that to ChatGPT, and ask the model to create a page or to create a text of a page. If you give the correct instructions and you feed that with the correct data, it's wonderful, because it's going to save you a lot of hours and a lot of work, manual work and repetitive work. So from that point of view, it's amazing. But I think in general they should not stop, but just take it a little bit calmer, because the way it's going, nobody can live up to that. And I'm not speaking like for myself or for yourself, like for one or two or three people businesses, but also I'm speaking also in the name of big agencies, or people working for big agencies, which have teams who can work and who can test AI tools, and which main activity is to test these tools, and still they cannot like really address the whole potential and understand all the new tools that are coming out every day. So even like big companies, they have like a specific team working on that, or they have created a specific team working on that, and they cannot understand the whole thing, what is happening. So to basically make
Yeah,
it a little bit slower, so that everybody can understand what is going on.
and that, there's also the problem that in many professions now, people are downsized with,
Yes.
the idea that AI will suddenly change everything and suddenly do everything. But there's also the counter theory that that's actually not true, because the data in the companies, the connection of the data is not working.
Yeah.
Because we never managed to solve, these like connectivity issues, basically. Also, we have organizational silos, and that
Yeah.
creates a problem. But then, we have 20 years ago, I was part of this movement. So, I'm
Yeah.
feeling guilty. It's like revenge now. But we started to outsource some of the, more administrative transactional processes, for example, in HR or in tax, in some of the areas that we work with.
So,
We outsourced them to several other countries, and created those so-called shared service centers. And the people working in their shared service centers, they're now at risk of losing their jobs, because many of the things they were doing, they were rather repetitive, transactional, etc. And I think, there's really an issue, because they have never been allowed to grow, and to grow out of their boxes and
sure.
learn with the technologies. And now, they suddenly have, they may be like my age and have to, suddenly still have 15 to 20 years of work, but can't really
Yeah.
get a job anymore.
Where do you start from that? So
Yeah,
you've done a job that nowadays can be handled by
yeah,
a single ChatGPT
yeah.
integration.
And
So that's
and
also an issue, obviously, the social
we
issue.
Yeah, and there was a similar development, when everything started to digitalize, when the internet came, and for example, with the whole book printing industry. So that's almost my final question to you, Musti. But I have a feeling at the moment, and maybe that's just in Switzerland, and maybe it's just in my circle of perception, in my bubble, but I have a feeling we're going back to paper in many areas. Like, compared to like, say, 2 years ago, now, I get a lot more like paper brochures, paper flyers, invitations on paper. And even I work a bit more like I did back in the 90s, so that I can deal with all the AI overwhelm. Like, I get AI overviews of, what AI can do in HR, but I can't read it on screen because it's such a dense information. So now I have to go back to printing again. What's your view on this? Is this a temporary problem, or is this like a Generation X problem? It's just because we're old that we can't
Uh,
deal with this anymore. I mean, not you.
I
I'm talking about my generation.
I think it's a little bit of a mix of different things. one point of view is that the decision to move back to print and to physical actions, also in marketing, it's a well calculated decision. So this is not like a fluke or something
No,
just
no, I,
happening
I, I
in
completely agree.
marketing.
I completely think it's
So
strategic, very strategic.
so they have understood and they have studied that people are overwhelmed by different channels,
Mm-hmm,
by different stressing factors during the work on the
mm-hmm,
computer.
mm-hmm,
So the best way to reach them, it's when they don't expect that. So it's like physical. You get something delivered, or you get simply a flyer or something like that. And that's, I think, one part of the explanation. So it's a strategic decision from marketing teams to recur to that source of marketing, so physical action, flyers, and so on, and printed stuff, because they think or they assume, or maybe they also have data backing that up, that that is going to basically get you get you some client. So that's one part of that. The second part is, I think, when one is overwhelmed or has too much going on, one has to recur again to sources of like calmness, or you have to recur to things that you know and which don't create stress. So I would say print is for many of, not probably not my generation, but probably of your generation or 40 plus.
mm-hmm,
Print was probably a channel, or I would say an item or a source of calmness, or at least they perceive it like that now, or you perceive it like that now, because there are too much going on online. So okay, I recall back to the printing because at least I take time. I
mm-hmm,
don't have stress coming up from the phone or from my email account, and I know, okay, I have this magazine, and now I'm going to get the knowledge that I need in my own pace, without callings, without everything that's going on.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that's also, I think, strategic from the point of view of users. So I record back to something that I know, which is not causing stress.
Yeah, and I think it's also the monotasking.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just
That's for
have
me,
that.
that's for me also a reason to tell my clients to print our worksheets and fill them by hands, print the handouts, because then, that's the only thing they're focusing on. And they don't have five screens where, things start to bling and blang. Right. Now, Musti, tell us, what have you got coming up? Big launches, big celebrations, big news?
Well, big news or big launches, I don't have at the moment. Simple plain life, as always. I would say I would rather promote something else. I would like people, and now that we are in winter, thank God we don't have freezing temperatures, but in general, there are freezing temperatures normally. There are people, especially now with the wars and with all the things that are going on in the world. I would say nowadays everybody spends a lot of money for Thanksgiving, for every kind of holiday. So why not spend a little bit of money to donate something to people who need that? Not only because it's Christmas, but I think in general Christmas is a time when everybody is like in a good mood. Everybody's working fine. You have free time. There's no work to do and so on. So everybody's in a good mood generally. But that's for us. We are privileged, but that's not a thing that everybody can live, or at least can profit
Mm.
from that. So I would say if people would donate a little bit more, that would be my promotion. Please
Your
donate.
wish list.
My wish list, please
Mhm.
donate more, not only during Christmas, but in general.
Do you have a specific NGO or a group that you would like to support?
No, in general, I use the donating option in Twint. So they have integrated that really fine. I don't know if you know the option.
No, but I
So
donate a lot otherwise
okay,
on the normal old-fashioned
okay.
channels.
Still, yeah,
Yeah.
on Twint, they have a section which is called Donate. You click
Mm,
on that, and then you get a list of the different associations. You can click on that. You can get an explanation of like their mission and so on.
mm,
You can also visit their web page and so on. But then they have the direct function of donating integrated into Twint, so you don't have to move to like your bank account or
mhm.
to something else. You just do that on Twint, and it's really quick. It's like not even 30 seconds.
Excellent. I mean, everybody who's not in Switzerland, Twint is our like
Yeah,
application where, we
I
also
almost forgot.
exchange money when we
Exchange
go for
money.
dinner together, etc. We send money to each other by our phones. But I'm sure every country has now similar technology
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Twint.
I heard Germany was curious about Twint
Hmm.
because they understood that the app has enormous potential, uh, because it's also basically a huge competitor for big companies like Apple and so
Yeah,
in Switzerland. Because
yeah,
obviously in other countries you have these options, Android and so on, NFC. But here in Switzerland you have Twint, so you don't have to record to these other big companies.
yeah, yeah. And we also support a number of organizations through my company. For example, we currently support an organization in Tanzania. There's another Red Couch Talk with Julian Page, who's the founder and organizer, and they're building schools for girls. So, you know, I mean, if you have money and you don't know where to send it to, you can call me. I'm going to give you an
Obviously.
organization. I have a number of, open requests. So
Sure.
we can help. We can help with that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
It was great talking to you again, Musti.
Thanks, Angie.
And hopefully in 2026, we're going to hire you for another workshop. I'm pretty sure this will happen again because your topics, they're just so important. And I also think a lot of people will reach out to you and ask a lot of questions. Yeah, so
Okay.
maybe you want to think about offering a webinar to all of these people so you don't have to answer the same questions all the time.
I was thinking about that, but it would take a little bit of time because
We
my
can
experience
always
is
brainstorm.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Okay. It was great talking to
So
you, and it's getting
thanks,
dark,
Angie.
so have a
Have a
great
nice
day.
evening
Have a
and
nice evening ahead. All the best.
nice Christmas time for all the people listening or seeing that during the Christmas period.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Musti.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.